Hey, it's Vas here from Aussie Playground and welcome to another unboxing. Today we're going to be looking at another 1/8 scale buggy, and this one is the Bushmaster 8E. Now if you follow the channel for a while, you probably know that I have the original Bushmaster, which is that guy sitting pretty over there. Now that car was an extremely good car. Well, it is an extremely good car. It handles very well, it's very robust, very stout and very strong, so it can take quite a bit of abuse. And it just looks really cool with the cage on there and everything. I think it's one of the better looking buggies on the market today, especially if you like that style of car. Now if you kind of wanted that car based on my review or the footage that you've seen online from various different YouTube producers out there and from guys just, you know, mucking around with their iPhones and so forth, but you wanted something that was a little bit more race inspired, well, this is probably going to be the car for you. Now it does come ready to run. It has different tyres on it, and it also has some upgraded shocks, and it has some slightly lighter weight material, obviously to make the car a little bit lighter, a bit more agile as well. And of course it looks really cool, and I think it could be quite competitive on the racetrack out there. Now it is limited to 4S only, just like the original Bushmaster. And it does come with the Ripper motor, but they've kind of changed the can look of it, so it looks like it's got these ribs on it for like a heat sink. It also has a different remote from the original Bushmaster, which, you know, I've sort of been on Thunder Tiger's case to kind of update their remotes, because the one that they have runs on 6AA's. It's kind of bulky, it's a little bit dated, so they've kind of changed it over. And I don't know if they've actually taken a step forward or a step backwards, but it does at least run on 4AA's and not 6. Anyway, enough talking about this guy and looking at a box. Let's get rid of that because we don't need that here. Here's our remote that I was talking about. Here are the manuals and all the goodies that you get in the box, and of course you have the car itself. Now, in my hand here we have a hex wrench, which of course has your 17mm hex here to take your wheels on and off. It also has an 8mm, 10mm, I think that's a 9mm, and a 12mm. Okay, so the next thing in my hand here is this CD, which I'm assuming is kind of like a user manual, like a digital copy of a user manual. That's what I'm thinking it is. I haven't used it yet. There's also these little plastic pieces here. Now these you can actually mount, I think it's on the inside of, I can't remember, I think it's the rear wheels from what I remember when I was sort of mucking around with it. This is to kind of scrape the mud off the inside of your wheels, and obviously to keep rocks out and so forth. So you can install that if you want. I've chosen not to install it. There's also a couple of hex keys, Allen keys there. Binding plug in case you need to rebind the receiver to the remote. And of course the user manual, the very important user manual. And that is what that guy looks like there. Has the typical sort of instructions inside for you to be able to work on the car and do some maintenance to it. Excuse me. There's also a parts list at the back, which is over here. So if you do need to kind of look up some parts or order some extra parts, all the information that you need is right there. The radio, now this is a bit of a hot topic at the moment with this particular car, because well, they've with the jackal that you see back there, they actually supplied a FlySky remote, which was very similar to that you would sort of see in the Axial cars. Armour was using them for quite a long time as well. But now they've switched out to this. I don't know if all their cars are coming with this now, but at least this one did. And it is, again, kind of a FlySky type of remote. Hobby King, they've got their own version of it. And it's a pretty cool sort of 2-channel radio, runs on 4AA's underneath, nothing too special there. From what I have sort of, like the experience that I've had with these radios and a couple of different versions, can I put this back in? Is it fighting me? Yeah, wait, hang on. This is tricky. Okay, here we go. I was having a bit of trouble there. Alright, so from the experience that I've had with these radios, no issues with range or anything like that. They work perfectly fine. The rubber wheel, you may like it, you may hate it. Does look a bit cheesy with kind of like a fake plastic disc brake and a caliper behind the wheel. But, it is what it is. At least it doesn't have any sort of breakable, collapsible antennas, which is cool. Behind the flipper door, you have your usual reverse switches. There's also a binding button. You got steering trim, throttle trim, and of course steering dual rate. And the on and off switch is behind the flipper door as well. The only complaint I have right now is that I kind of wish that the on and off switch was outside of the flipper door. Because you don't want to be sort of opening this every single time you want to turn the radio on and off. It's just a little bit annoying. But aside from that, cool radio. Good feel in the hand as well. I don't have too many complaints about that one. Alrighty, so now for the main event, the car itself. I'll bring this guy up close to the camera so you can have a bit of a closer look at it. You can see the new tyres there, race wheels, really cool looking body, very nicely done. And there it is there. Alright, now you'll notice that it has mud flaps already on here. These don't come installed on the buggy, you will need to install these yourself. One downside that I saw with this was that they don't provide you with the screws to be able to install them on. So you will need to get your own screws to kind of fit them onto the buggy itself. It's not a big deal, they're only small screws. And if you've been in the hobby, even if you've been in the hobby for a short time, you've probably got some spare screws lying around. Spoiler does have to go on the buggy, you will need to screw this one on. And I can't remember, I don't think they supply screws for the spoiler either. Don't quote me on it because I can't remember. I've had this car here now for almost a week, believe it or not. I just haven't had the time to kind of do this unboxing, but I did want to do it tonight because I want to see if I can run it tomorrow. I'm also going to be speed testing it tomorrow just to see if it's any quicker than the original Bushmaster. So let's start from the outside and work our way in. Now the tyres themselves have these really tall pin design and they're actually quite soft. They're not super soft, but they are quite soft. And I'm really hoping that this design will actually grip really well at the BMX track. Going from experience with several different tyres that I've had in the past, these look like they could be staying on this car. I may not need to upgrade. Of course, if you're going to be running on grass a lot, especially if it's thick grass, this or short thick grass like lawn, you may find that these might slip a little bit. Because the fine pin just doesn't really dig in. You may need something more like a Badlands or something like that to really dig into the grass. But I guess it really depends on where you're going to be running it. Now, suspension wise, feels real nice and plush, very much like the original Bushmaster. Probably a little bit too soft, not a lot of rebound going on here, especially at the rear. However, the shock collars are wound all the way to the top and I have a lot of thread there. So I can wind the collars down a little bit and really tune the buggy to the way that I want. The springs are not short, and this is how all shocks should come out of the box. Collars wound all the way up and have full length springs, so you have full scope on how you want to tune the car. This is perfect. With the Armour cars, for example, you guys would have seen my, especially the original unboxing of the Armour cars that I did a year and a half, 2 years ago now. The springs were actually quite short, the collars were wound down, and when you wanted to wind them back up, you think there was not enough spring. To me, this is how they should come. Every RC manufacturer should take note of this particular car because this is brilliant. I really like this. Now, shock towers look to be about 4mm thick, but I think these may actually be pressed aluminium and not CNC machined as the original Bushmaster was. I think the Bushmaster had slightly better shock towers, at least from the feel of them anyway. That being said, I never bent a single one, and well, I'm hoping this one doesn't bend either. But then of course, these are a lot more exposed than the other ones were, so who knows. Of course, aluminium threaded body shocks. As you can see, you have CVDs on the front, and you have standard dog bones in the rear. Front and rear sway bars already pre-installed on this guy. I believe they're using the same A-arms, front and rear, as the original Bushmaster. And your camber and toe links are also the same as the original Bushmaster. Same with the camber links in the rear. Alright, so now that we've talked about that, and just very quickly, the chassis is also the same. So, very, very cool chassis, really nice, kind of a champagne anodized aluminium on there. Very, very cool. Okay, so 2 body pins removes the body. We'll get rid of those very, very quickly. Put the body over there, and let's have a look at the inside. Now, if you've seen the original Bushmaster unboxing, you'll see this is very, very familiar, except for the motor that you see there. So it still says Ripper motor on there, but as you can see, it's got this kind of ribbed design going on, I think just to keep things a little bit cool. ESC looks to be a rebranded Quick Run Hobby Wing ESC. Servo just says TS10 from Thunder Tiger. I didn't really have a huge problem with the stock servo on the Bushmaster, but of course servos can always be faster, can always be torquier. But you know, for ready to run servo, I think it was actually pretty decent. Now the motor mount is a little bit different on this one. You can see it's a different color. The original Bushmaster had a blue one, and this one uses a slider system. I don't think that one had a slider system. I think you adjusted the motor by just, you know, moving it up and down, as it is the case with most RCs these days. One thing I noticed straight away when I took the lid off, when I first saw this buggy, is that the center drive shafts and also front and rear drive shafts are a little bit thinner than those found on the original Bushmaster. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be an issue. I doubt that it would be, but I think they're trying to lighten the buggy up a little bit, obviously to try and keep it competitive. You don't want to sort of weigh this thing down too much, and every gram obviously makes a difference when you're, you know, making a race car. Now this does come with a fairly decent pinion size on here. I don't know what size it is specifically, but if I do find out, I'll put it up on the screen. And of course it has Dean's connectors on here, which as you know, I'll be getting rid of these and going for my XT150s, as I tend to do with pretty much all my 1/8 scale vehicles. Battery tray is a pretty standard size, so you'll be able to fit 2 standard size 2S batteries in here, or just your kind of raw approved 4S pack. That's what it's really designed for. You're not going to be able to put any sort of massive batteries. You can probably go a bit taller because it does use Velcro straps, so you might be able to get away with something tall, but just be mindful that lengthwise and widthwise you will have restrictions there. Receiver box is over here, which I believe is waterproof, or at least splash proof. Don't quote me on the servo though, I'm not 100% sure on the actual servo itself. But overall this feels like a really nice buggy. It's not super heavy. I think they've done a lot of things right here. The only thing that I've also noticed that is different between this car and the original Bushmaster is the Bushmaster had these kind of like carbon fiber plate on top of the rear A-arms, and this one doesn't come with it. Of course the provisions are there for you to do that if you want to put those plates on there to give the A-arms a little bit more strength, but given that they're totally sealed underneath, as you can see there's really no holes there. I didn't really see the need for it. I think you'll be totally fine. Now my friend Chris from Storm, he got himself the exact same buggy only a short time ago. I think we both got it around about the same time, except his unboxing went up before mine. And he was complaining about the stickers on the rear wing coming off. And I have to agree 100% because my stickers are also coming off. And even though I've sort of pressed them down to kind of stay down, they do go down initially, but then after a while they start to peel back again. So I don't know, maybe I'll leave them on there, maybe I'll peel them off just to have more of a cleaner look. But there's something for Thunder Tiger to have a look at. You know, these stickers on the wing, they need to be a little bit better because they come off very, very easily. So aside from that, you're running a steel spur gear on here with Mod 1 gearing. And the buggy overall just looks really, really nice. And I'm really hoping that it can take as much of a punishment as the original Bushmaster that you see over there, because that is one of the reasons why I've held on to that car, is because I know that I can hand it off to a friend, or if I really want to go crazy with it, I can, and it's going to be able to take those beatings. Now, this is obviously aimed at a different demographic, and I certainly hope that, you know, if you can take the odd kind of bad landing or something like that, I'll be pretty happy with it. My biggest concern here is how it's going to perform overall, what its speed is going to be, how it's going to handle. That's where my focus is going to be on this car. Durability wise, I don't want to push it as hard as I did the original Bushmaster because, well, I may or may not, I don't know. But I think because this is aimed at a different demographic, I want to be a little bit more sane with this one and just enjoy it for what it is. That's what I'm really trying to say. So there we have it. There is my unboxing and first impressions of the Bushmaster 8E from Thunder Tiger. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, check out the video description for more information on the car, as well as a link to my Facebook page. I thank you all very much for watching, and I will speak to you next time.